they get you reactive, and that's how they activate your inner crackhead. Smokes crack and gets addicted.
More metaphors. That's exactly how today's meeting was. I was like, "What? Who's smoking crack? What's going on with the crack?" And everybody kept saying the crack. So the crack thing. So when you go into crack, I'm like, what crack?
See, the cave opens deeper. That was the void part. So the empty void that borderlines have. That's the crack in the back of the cave. Your inner true self is inherently empty. There is no self. There is your soul, which has some sort of calling and pull, but there is no self.
Well, then we shouldn't kill this bitch.
There's a false self you should kill. Yes.
But what
That's your codependent self.
Well, there's nothing behind her.
Yes.
In fact,
yes.
Wait.
If there's no
Where are you lost?
Okay, if there's no self in the back of the cave, I remember the back of the cave.
Well, there's a non-self. The non-self is not a self, but it is. It's there, but it's an absence.
It's a black hole.
Yes, it's a black hole.
Okay. So can I just kill myself? It could just kill itself.
It will kill itself because it inherently doesn't exist. So that's the path of truth. So as you see through delusion, Maya, you see the impermanence and the nonsense of the false self and the self trying to kill the false self. All that is just impermanent. It doesn't exist. It's just a framework.
Yeah, doesn't a narcissist see that thing in the back of the cave?
Well, we actually see the narcissist's true self. That's why they can evict. That's how they can evoke pity in us, because codependents see the true self of the narcissist and fall for trying to rescuing it. But it's rescuing the other person's true self as a proxy of their own, of your own issues. Yeah.
Okay, now wait.
I told you.
I understood it when we did this lesson before, but now you're adding voids and black holes and like, okay, so there should really be two caves facing each other in that picture, right?
Okay.
One cave.
So the narcissist has their cave. That's over there somewhere. Okay.
And then you have your cave, right?
Okay,
and then
I'll go with that.
You're both in front of your caves, like interacting.
Yeah, the two fawns.
And I, as the codependent, can see into the narcissist cave
and see their crack.
And see their crackhead. And the narcissist, can they see my baby crackhead in my cave?
Yes.
Okay. So
they see it through they get you reactive, and that's how they activate your inner crackhead.
Okay. So then now, like, I separate from the narcissist, right? And my goal is to not have this like cave dance with the narcissist, right?
Okay.
And so then we get into this talk about we want to see the false self die so we can get to the baby crackhead.
You got to do something with your crack, is what you're saying.
Something cracky has to happen. So
but
through kind of seeing that is a false self, that the false self is going to get murderized.
Through some mechanism, the false self needs to get murderized. Yes.
And I thought,
bloody cartoon action, murderized.
The way that happens is like me recognizing that the false self is like false. It's like bullshit.
Yes. In non-duality, they would say you use a thorn to get rid of a thorn. Then you throw out the thorn. So you have to use the self to get rid of the self.
So.
And then you throw away the self that you use to get rid of the self.
The self. Yeah.
But if you're using a a self to kill this self, that self you use becomes a new false self.
False self.
Right.
Okay, I think I'm getting where you are, but in the words of Holly,
But hey, but you've
I
got
need
the
an
narcissist.
example. I need a concrete
But-
example.
The two false selves are the ones that are interacting, but the two real selves can see each other,
Yeah,
Right.
got that. Yeah.
right? So the
Yeah.
narcissist hooks you in through your real self, but only wants to deal with your false self.
Right.
Because if your false self dies, then they have to deal with the real self, and I don't like that.
They can't. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of like what the conversation was today, because I think the crack, you're selling the false self to the narcissist, and then but the narcissist overrides that and goes straight to the crack baby in the back. And that's how you're able to get hurt. But you can see the narcissist crack baby too, but
Also,
you're not attacking it. Instead, you want to nurture it. Whereas
I get that. That's the piece I'm on.
Which is actually you trying to save yourself.
right,
So Grana's, because what it is if I can save your crack baby, that means I'll be okay.
right, exactly. And so the deal is to stop lying to yourself, so that way you can fully take care of the crack baby, and that will ward off any kind of intrusion from the.
But who is me? Who's taking care of the crack baby?
I'm sorry.
Who is taking care of the crack baby? You said you can take care of the crack baby. Who is me now? I'm a black hole.
You're back
You're a
there.
black
You're
hole.
back at the back of the cave. Yeah,
Right. I'm the Higgs boson thing.
that's the true self. Yeah, that's the true self.
no, this
Trust
isn't
me.
the true self.
Hidden. What?
This
Where's
isn't the true self. This is the tangible part of the true self, but the true self is just a bunch of memories that are unintegrated. Once your memories get integrated, they get sent back to the void, and then your true self is just empty.
Like today, like someone mentioned that they were an empath, and it's like, what does that mean? And that sounded so fake. And we had a whole conversation about that. It's like, people giving themselves these titles, but you give yourself so many titles that where's the real you then? Is it, oh, I'm an empath, so I ... Oh,
So
I'm
the
a
less
guy.
labels you have, and the more space you have for your real self, then you can actualize and embody your non-dual self, which is empty. But it's also infinite. So it's a black hole that's a void that's connected to God, infinite. So it's infinite and it's a dot at the same time. But first you go to the void, you get consumed and destroyed by the void, and then bam, you get God consciousness.
But don't narcs think that they're God?
So they might be the other side. So codependents think they're the black hole side, the void part. And narcissists are trying to play the opposite side of the void, which is infinity. Yeah.
Yeah, connection to God isn't the same as being God. The narcissist is God.
Masculine God. God and Godfather, not Godmother.
Man God.
Yeah, man God. They want to be man God. But feminine God is infinite womb, infinite potential, infinite eggs, infinite.
I need some egg. This is very too much for me. I didn't take philosophy.
No, this is non-dual spirituality. This is a heavy-duty awakening. It's even beyond spiritual warfare.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah, this makes the borderline stuff look like a walk in the park, to be completely honest.
No, this is a path of pure surrender, so it's not just killing the false self. As you surrender and surrender to heartbreak, negative emotions, all of your mental creations and formations that you've created since birth on fall away, and the goal is to come back to get to that point of life force, pre-creation, maybe like sperm infecting the egg or something.
No, the egg accepting the sperm.
Or that original union, you want to get to that pure life force from an Eastern perspective. This
That's
isn't the true
self.
self. This is the tangible part of the true self, but the true self is just a bunch of memories that are unintegrated. Once your memories get integrated, they get sent back to the void, and then your true self is just empty. Just empty.